Hey guys, how's it going? It's been quite a while since we did a cozy, chatty paint with me type of video, so grab some tea, grab a sketchbook, and let's hang out, let's chat. So as you know, Inktober just ended, and once again, I was not a participant. Now I did consider it this year, but October, I don't know man, it just creeped up on me. Life happened, and now it's November. Did I get a little bit of Inktober FOMO? Yes. But I do want to talk about why I don't typically participate in Inktober, at least not every day. Now, I have nothing against art challenges. I think they're fantastic. I mean, obviously, I'm doing my 20 illustrations challenge this year. I did the 100 scene studies challenge last year. Challenges are a great way to hold yourself accountable in your creative practice. They give you something to work with instead of waiting for inspiration to strike. Having that initial idea like a daily Inktober prompt can really lower the pressure of creating by giving you more of a jumping off point. But I think there's also a downside to this sometimes. A lot of people who go all in on a 30-day challenge end up really burnt out by the end of it. Now, some people thrive off of the pressure to create every day. They love it and they grow from it. And for some people, that daily pressure just tears them down. For me, I like taking the weekends off from planned creative projects. You know, if I have some free time on a Saturday and I just want to paint, I grab my brushes and I paint. Or if I want to sketch, I snuggle up with my dog on the couch and I spend as much time sketching as I want to. I'm not at all opposed to daily creation, but for me personally, I don't like it to be a requirement all the time. There's a quote I really like by Victor Linnao.
I can't pronounce it. Let's move on.
Diamonds are formed under pressure, and bread dough rises when you let it rest. We are all our own things, and what may be motivating to you may be crippling to others. I think there are a lot of artists that assume that they can do a 30-day challenge because they see another artist that thrives from doing it. But the reality is, no creative person is the same as another. We are all different artists. We're built differently, and our creative journeys are naturally gonna look different too. So if you, like me, felt a little bit of guilt or a little bit of FOMO from not participating in Inktober this year, don't stress out about it. Fun fact, October comes around every year, so there'll be other opportunities. I've been thinking a lot lately about this idea of fallow. So fallow is a farmland term. It means a piece of land that is plowed and harrowed but left unsown for a period in order to restore its fertility. It's a period of rest and rejuvenation for the land, and I think we as artists need that sometimes too. We need a fallow season sometimes where maybe we're just not as productive in terms of making art, but we're really filling up our creative cups. I think that fallow time is equally important. I've also been experiencing this in terms of physical health too lately. Now you may have seen or heard on literally every social media platform I'm a part of that I have a new doggo, Annie Jane. We had our 1-month adoption anniversary last week, which is crazy hard to believe. It feels like she's just been a part of the family forever. She's settling in very well, we're best pals, she's a great studio assistant, but it's definitely been an adjustment. I'm trying to find a new normal. So I had been very disciplined in having a daily exercise routine over the past few years. Provided I wasn't sick, I would always make time for a session of yoga or Pilates, weightlifting, bar, whatever. It was always a part of my daily routine. But a dog takes time. We go for walks and we play fetch and we snuggle because she is actually the snuggliest dog I have ever met. But the time I spend with her has to come from somewhere. And on a lot of days, time with Annie wins out over exercise. Now don't worry, like I said, I'm still taking daily walks with her, I'm still moving and stretching and using my body, but I'm only having an actual workout like 3 or 4 times a week now. And I've found that those days of fallow have actually been really good for me. I've been a little bit less fatigued, my muscles have more time to recover between workouts, and I haven't noticed any kind of muscle loss or regression in my movement skills. And in a weird way, I feel like my workday routine has also improved since having Annie Jane. My hours are more regulated, my breaks consist of doggy snuggles instead of mindless social media scrolling, and I don't know, it's just really nice to have a little studio companion. I don't know if part of the improved work routine is this kind of mindset of,
well, if I get my work done by such and such a time, then Annie Jane and I will have more one-on-one time together.
I don't know, whatever the reason, I feel like I'm doing more with my time and being a better steward of it. Even if that means that my daily routine doesn't look the same as it did a few months ago. But anyways, back to art challenges. Personally, I really like the year-long challenges I've been doing. It allows me to take some breaks throughout the year to fill up my creative cup and to really just take my time on my projects. Now, I did have a little bit of a panic a couple weeks ago because I thought I was ahead on my 20 illustrations challenge until I realized that I had miscounted. I had, in fact, completed 15, not 16. So, now I'm reworking my schedule a bit to make sure that I can finish the last few illustrations this year. I do think I'm back on track now, or will be within the next week or so. One of the things I've noticed this year, doing more of these kind of large-scale illustrations, is that I'm getting much faster at painting now. I'm spending less time fixing my colors and values because I'm getting them right the first time a lot more frequently. I'm also making more confident strokes because my hand-eye coordination is improving, and I'm having more focused painting sessions. Sessions where I'm not noodling around or procrastinating, I'm just getting in the zone and focusing in and getting stuff done. Anywho, let's chat a little bit about this painting. Not gonna lie, I'm not a huge fan of Halloween. Don't get me wrong, I love free candy. I love coming up with a fun costume when I'm not too lazy to actually dress up. I love planning the fall festival for my church, but the spooky stuff?
It's just not my thing.
That said, I did watch both of the Conjuring movies this year because they're the only scary movies that I can handle. Quickly followed up by watching Coco because I needed those good vibes. Now, did I cry at Coco?
Absolutely.
Anywho, needless to say, I wasn't thrilled about the spooky theme. I did it for the 100 Scene Studies because I wanted to paint a scene from Nightmare Before Christmas, but honestly, I had no idea how I was going to come up with something for it for my own illustration. But it's a challenge for a reason. Same with the dance theme. I needed to ask myself how I could take a theme that I don't typically vibe with and make it my own. Y'all know I am a big fan of things that are cozy and whimsical, kind of cottagecore, things that just make me smile. And there is nothing cozier for me than the Marikey Meadow. And thus was born a Marikey Meadow Halloween party. Does it fit the spooky theme?
Loosely, I would say.
Because it is technically a Halloween illustration.
So.
Anywho, I loved the idea of Bits and Bubbles just throwing a party where everyone pulls together their candy haul for a very big, very sugary feast. I originally thought about having the party in one of their cottages with lots of warm lights and cozy furniture, but to fit the more spooky vibe a little bit better, I tried thumbnailing an outdoor scene. And from that, everything just kind of flowed seamlessly. The willow tree, the candles on the table, the tree stump chairs, lanterns, the cute little pumpkin. I loved juxtaposing these deep blues and greens in the background with all of these warm lights of the candles and the lanterns in the foreground. And because I had just done some research at the time going into my video on lighting theory, I was so excited to use some of what I've learned during that for this illustration. Playing around with lost edges and a more kind of low-key lighting scheme. I also switched things up with this one by doing a more vignette style of illustration. Typically I do go for more of the cinematic, kind of widescreen format, but I've been seeing a lot of Poopy Cat's art on Instagram, and I don't know, I like the shapes of vignettes she makes. I also played around with the more chunky shapes of the bush behind the raccoon pirate and the top of the willow tree, exploring and exaggerating the shapes of those background elements. It was a lot of fun turning this theme into something that I enjoyed, the spooky vibes of Halloween with the cozy vibes of a group of friends sharing their candy. Now, I am 100% convinced that Bobbles pulled his costume together last minute by grabbing a bedsheet and cutting out holes for his eyes and leaf ears. When it comes to decorating for autumn, he is always ahead of the game, but Halloween, last minute, every year. It had been a little bit since I'd painted Fergus the Fox, so I definitely knew I wanted to include him in this one. Now, he always goes as the Mad Hatter for Halloween. He's a very dapper little guy, and he never backs down from the opportunity to wear a top hat. I'm not fully sure who the bear, the bunny, and the raccoon are yet. The raccoon was in the coffee shop illustration, but I don't really know his story yet. I think that's one of the really fun things about the Marquee Meadow, is I'm always meeting new characters and learning their stories. More and more of the illustrations for this challenge are becoming centered around the Marquee Meadow, and you know what? I'm fine with that. They make me so happy to paint. There's one I painted recently for the sweets theme that I am so excited to show you guys. I think that's gonna be the next video, maybe, I'm not sure. So one of my favorite touches, which unfortunately I didn't get footage of, but you will see it in the final reveal at the end of the video, it's these little hand-sewn patches on Bits' witch hat. They've got these fun colors and patterns, and honestly, I really think it was the finishing touch for this piece. It just added another layer of quirkiness to it. Another little touch that just makes me giggle when I see it. Do people spend a ton of time looking at my illustrations to see all of the little details like that?
I don't know, probably not.
But those little details usually end up becoming my favorite parts of my paintings because they add another little layer of storytelling to it. So when I was little, my mom and I used to play those hidden object mystery PC games, and I love making my illustrations a little bit similar to those, where you kind of have to look at them for a while to find all the little hidden secrets in them. So anywho, what else is new? There's been a lot going on in the business side lately. So I spent the last month or so taking HubSpot's content marketing class, and I'm almost finished with their inbound marketing class too. And it's been very eye-opening, to say the least. The content marketing class in particular. I think as artists, we tend to feel kind of icky when we call the art that we post on social media content, like somehow that takes away from the creativity of it. But content creation has been a thing for literally hundreds of years before the rise of social media. Even Benjamin Franklin created content. He used to make a yearly almanac as a way to promote his writing business. And no one can possibly say that the man was not still creative, even though he used some of his creativity to make content. Creatives that are building a business around their art tend to feel kind of cringy trying to market it, but there's absolutely no reason to. There's nothing wrong with promoting something that you've made. The reality is, you have to market it if you want to sell it. All of that said, I've been looking a lot more at the type of content I've been sharing here on YouTube, on Pinterest, on Instagram, my website, my newsletter, and I've been seeing a lot of changes that need to be made. You may have noticed recently that I've been doing a lot more polls, and this is in an effort to get to know you better and understand what it is that you're looking for, what you want to see from my content. Truthfully, for a while, I'd been so focused on how people were engaging with me and with my art and with my content, but that isn't who I want to be as a person or as a professional artist. I want to build a real community, and community is about relationship, and a relationship is about give and take. I want to be more intentional about listening to you. I want to hear what you're going through in your own creative practice and how I can help you. My art itself is not going to change for a community. Art is very personal, and I need to make what resonates with me. But in terms of the content I share, how I'm captioning things, the topics I cover in videos, all that jazz, I want to create content that is both inspirational and educational for all of the curious creatives who choose to let me in on their art practice. Of course, you are the hero of your own art journey, but I'd love to be the friendly, if somewhat quirky, kind of wizard that helps you on your way, offering some little nuggets of what I've learned on my own journey, or even just offering a listening ear when you need to talk about what you're struggling with in your creative practice. The art journey is never meant to be taken alone. So I'm currently doing a lot of research on how to create better content for you guys and how to build up this community in the right way. So if you have any thoughts on what you want to be seeing from me, how I can be helping you, please let me know down in the comments. Figure drawing practice videos, supply tour, inspirational Pinterest boards, let me know. I'm open to any and all of your suggestions. I want to hear your ideas. I also wanted to mention that if written content is more your speed, I just made my first blog post on my website recently on 6 ways to build a sustainable and enjoyable creative practice. So there's a link down in the description if you want to check it out. Anywho, I recently took the plunge and purchased some new gouache.
I know, I know, I had plenty.
But I've had my eye on this set of knicker poster colors for like 2 years now, and I'd finally made enough from my Amazon affiliate links to be able to buy it.
So I did.
I actually ended up getting a really good deal on it too, which, you know, kind of proud of. I think one of the saddest things about becoming an adult is the amount of excitement I get when I can save money on something. Anywho, if you don't know what knicker poster colors are, they're the most common paints for hand-painted anime backgrounds. So most of the Studio Ghibli backgrounds were painted with these, and y'all know I love Studio Ghibli. It was only a matter of time till I adopted the supplies of the masters into my supply collection. They're very vibrant, very fun to mix. I'm particularly a fan of the French gray. You're going to be seeing a lot of that one in the illustration for the sweets name. Now, fair warning, some of the paints in the knicker poster color sets are not the most archival friendly. Because it's poster color, it's not made to stay as vibrant for thousands of years. But honestly, that's just not something I'm super concerned about. I keep my paintings out of direct sunlight to prevent them from fading quickly, and I don't typically put them in galleries, so those lights aren't an issue either. Truthfully, I'm just not that concerned about my paintings lasting for hundreds and hundreds of years after I'm gone. In other news, I finally got some prints made of some of the paintings I've done this year, and y'all, I was so happy with how they turned out. They look just like the originals. The colors are gorgeous, the texture of the paper has that kind of grit to it, like watercolor paper, which I love. I'm going to be taking those to my local Christmas vendor show in December, and whatever I don't sell there, I'm most likely going to be putting up in my online shop. I'm actually really excited to see which prints are the most popular, especially where I live. Small Midwest towns aren't super into the style of art that I make, which is fine. But I have a feeling that the Marquee Meadow prints might resonate with people a little bit more because animals are something that more people are into than, let's say, I don't know, fairies or dwarves or those kind of more hyper fantasy things. Anywho, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little painting session together and chatting with me about Inktober and content and challenges and creative rest. I feel like I'm entering a little bit of a new season for both my art and my business, and that's very exciting. And it absolutely means the world to me that you guys are joining me on this journey. Huge thank you to the Cozy Club over on Patreon for helping to support my art journey. You guys give me the opportunity to make new products and make these videos and build more of a close-knit community, and I am so grateful for each of you. If you'd like to join the Cozy Club, it's a pay what you want subscription where you get access to tutorials, behind the scenes, and early peeks at new artwork. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye guys!